Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 7 of our F1 24 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here, the jewel in the Formula 1 crown. It's time for the Monaco Grand Prix. If you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from Imola, I would highly recommend going back and check it out. Our dream start to the year just seems to be continuing on after a dramatic late race scrap with Charles Leclerc. We now have a 68-point lead at the top of the table over the Monegasque man there. Yuki Tsunoda down into P3. We would be leading the constructors by ourselves. If it came to it, Perez has been not quite useless, but not far off early on in the campaign as well. So I'm hoping he can have a bit of turnaround of form in the next couple of GPs as well. We're on a 9-race podium streak, but Monaco for me on this game has been very topsy-turvy. Sometimes it goes well, other times it goes absolutely terribly. How we're going to get on today is anybody's guess. We are also ridiculously close to 5k subs here on the channel at the moment, which if you aren't already, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well for more Formula 1 content. Co-op should also be back tomorrow. Gary and I are finally, hopefully, going to be returning with that. So yeah, make sure you're around for the live stream as well. But yeah, let's do this thing.
Not all qualifying sessions are created equal. From the moment that a driver sits in a go-kart, they want to end up here, in the pit lane, ready and raring for qualifying at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Well, heading into qualifying then, I must admit I am a little bit nervous here. The car doesn't feel as settled as I was hoping it would be around this circuit, so we're really going to have to try and pull something out of the bag this weekend there as Verstappen makes his way out of the pit lane just in front of us. This first lap, as always, is a bit more about just trying to get a delta on the board, trying to get a decent representative, and then we know what we can try and chase on the second run. If you guys did watch the video from Imola yesterday, you'll have seen just how much the track ramped up on the second run. And Monaco, there is no circuit quite like it in Formula 1. This place, it really is mental. The way the circuit can obviously try and get up to speed as you put more and more rubber in. You know, it's not a regular racetrack. There just isn't much time to get the circuit rubbered in across the 3-day weekend. So as we make our way through, nice and tidy there. Again, like I said, just trying to give ourselves a little bit of room. To back, though, is, I mean, you don't even downshift anymore. You just flick it through and pray that the car sticks there as we make our way in towards the final few corners. I believe it's Zhou Guanyu provisionally at the top of the board there, but through the final corner, nice and tidy on the throttle on the exit. That was a pretty good second half of the lap. We only go, though, in P4. Well, we all know Sergio Perez can be a bit of a street circuit wizard, and once again, he looks set to try and prove that here as we head back out for our final run in qualifying. Our teammate currently fastest, just quarter of a second clear of ourselves. But can we try and clutch up and get to the front of the order here? Nice and tidy through turn 1. We are just going to hang it all on the line on this run now. Up the top of the hill, down into 4th gear, flick it down into 3rd. Through the second part there, just want to short shift up over the bump before you get on the anchors once more, just before that yellow marker on the outside. Purple through sector 1, nice and tidy as we make our way down through the hairpin. And they're just trying to attack the curbs as you make your way through Lower Mirabeau. Avoid the curving through Portier, and look at that! The track really is ramping up, half a second up so far on this lap time then, as we break at the 100-meter board. It's important now that we don't get too confident or anything like that. You know, this circuit will still absolutely punish you there, but can we try and find even more time as the lap continues to unfold? Shut the car through. This is feeling really nice up to now, but it could all still go wrong. Just one more corner to go. Through Anthony Noakes there, a little bit slippery and sliding. We hit the wall on the exit. We're going to throw away loads of time. Where do we end up? It was going to be the lap of dreams, but it is only P8. Well, I've got no idea how much time we were up come the end of Sector 3 there, but it must have been genuinely at least half a second. The second half of that lap, I mean, the entire lap, until the traction off the final corner was looking fantastic there. Fernando Alonso will storm to pole position ahead of Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton, so clearly experience paying dividends this weekend. Zhou Guanyu will line up P4 just ahead of both Ferrari cars there. We end up behind Pierre Gasly just ahead of Russell and Verstappen. And, well, I hate to say it, but I think Tsunoda, his title hopes seem to be just further falling apart there. P16 this weekend. V-Carb are in the bin.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That's how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but we still race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean. There is no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. Cars will climb around 40 metres up the hill, past the casino, and then descend towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of 19 corners, so don't expect to see much overtaking here today. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Fernando Alonso lines up on pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Considering the rest of the grid we have Hamilton, Zhou, Sainz, Leclerc, Gasly, Mr. Monaco, Russell, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Norris, Stroll, Albon, Ocon, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Sargent, Teo Porcher and Dennis Hauger. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Well, we are going to need a bit of a miracle today then here on the Monte Carlo streets. Not too sure what I want to do with strategy, but ultimately, yeah, it's like staying out of trouble. And, you know, like I said, I want to keep our podium streak alive, but that is going to be very, very difficult to do from P8 on the grid. It's not impossible to overtake here, but it is certainly not easy, and we're going to need a good start if we want to do anything. This gives Perez, though, a good opportunity to prove his worth within the team as well. It is 5 red lights here on the grid, and it is going to be lights out, and away we go there. Leclerc's done very well, Russell's done well, and we're going to try to look around the outside of Gasly in towards someone there, maybe even Carlos Sainz as well. You've got to take the opportunities on lap 1 there as the Spaniard really trying to squeeze us up the hill, but we will make that work, I think, just about. We're still wheel to wheel on the exit of the corner there. Make sure we give him some room on the exit as Sainz, I think, backs out of that one. Not too sure why, but 2 places gained them off the start of this. As next up already is our main World Championship threat in Charles Leclerc. I'm sure he was hoping for a good weekend as well around this venue, but yeah, obviously home Grand Prix for Charles. Don't know if he's won this race in this series. It was quite a while ago that we started Season 2 of this career mode, but yeah, bringing it back towards the end of the year, hopefully in a more consistent capacity as well. There is one little bit wide through there. That was not what I needed. Luckily, no, we got a safety car. We've already got someone gone. Albon's out of the race. Well, we ended up actually with a red flag from that Alex Albon incident. So yeah, I think everybody now then is going to try and make a switch to the hard compound tyres. And if you watched the Monaco GP in the driver career mode last week, we had a red flag on lap 1 in that series as well. So it might be slightly ruining the strategies here in Monaco, but I guess that's kind of part of the problem with racing on such a narrow circuit then. We line up 1 row further in front. Perez actually lines up on pole. It's going to be 5 red lights again, and it is going to be a lights out, and away we go there. Perez again, a nice clean getaway, as Hamilton is going to try and look around the outside of Alonso in through turn 1. Zhou Guanyu now moves himself up into the podium places. And I don't believe we've ever seen Zhou get a podium on this game. He's already trying to muscle our way towards Charles Leclerc up the top of the hill. Plenty of contact, but we'll find an avenue down the inside as well there. So maybe now we can try and move ourselves up into P5. We're still going to be wheel to wheel as we make our way through the exit of the hairpin there. But a brave, audacious move early on in this GP. So it's still very early on in the year to be kind of thinking about the championship, but you know, I've just got to prove to these guys I'm not going to get bullied around, and we've now gained 3 places then in the early stages of this race there. So Perez leading comfortably out front. I think it would be very, very good for our teammate if he could get yet another Monaco Grand Prix victory under his belt this afternoon. But are we going to be able to stick with Hamilton and Alonso? No pit stop now. kind of means here you can't rely on strategy whatsoever. So yeah, we're going to have to be really, really careful. Well, Perez is looking very, very good out in front, but already just feeling like we're getting a little held up behind Lewis Hamilton in this GP. So yeah, it's not going to be easy to try and find a way around him. Normally your options are kind of lap 1 or pray that the car in front is really, really struggling. Can we try and get close enough to that Mercedes down under the bridge? We'll have a look down the inside. Yeah, that was never going to come off, was it? And we might end up with a second red flag here. I'm going to try and get going as soon as I can. But we have created a roadblock and we got another one. It's not a good track record so far in this GP, but I guess I said you can make moves on lap 1. So that's exactly what we're going to have to try and do once again then here. I could be tempted, though. This might be the stupidest choice I ever make inside this game. But I could be tempted to try and start on the softs and see if we could open up the strategy with that there. Of course, we'd have more grip than everybody else. How far do the team reckon the softs could go? I'm just breaking the strategy by even attempting that. But we're going to give it a whirl and just see if we can do something a bit different here. Everybody else is going to be on the hards for the 3rd time. It's 5 red lights. And it is once again going to be lights out and away we go. And that time around, it's Zhou Guanyu that struggles to put the power down. So Alonso will say thank you very much there. And annoyingly, we've got a wall of Aston Martins and Mercedes just in front of us. We'll try and get alongside Lewis, though, up in towards Casino Square there. Zhou will hang on in that P3 as well. There is a little bit of wheel banging between ourselves and Lewis, but another spot gained then off of this restart there. And now up into P4. But again, we can try and attack on the set of the soft compound tyres here early on this stint. So Zhou Guanyu currently running up in the podium places. I'm sure he'd love to try and get a podium. His first in this series, and of course China's first ever in Formula 1 there. But just see the run we can get now. And that one seems like a bit of an easier move to make than the one we attempted on Lewis Hamilton.
Nice overtake.
Straight up into P3 then. But these tyres will not get to the end.
Okay, we've got a full course.
Oh, we got another one. Hauger's gone. What on earth is happening here? Well, this is Oscar Piastri's POV as we make our way down into the chicane there. Oh, Hauger actually slaps the Haas alongside him. And then just instantly on the exit, rips the wheel off there. Similar, I think it was to Jean-Eric Vergne years ago in Formula E. But yeah, Hauger now out of the Grand Prix. He didn't hold up many cars behind him, but that's another incident. Well, that might work out quite nicely for us here, because of course it'll mean it's a few less laps we have to do on the soft compounded tyre. You can already see 1 lap on them, and they're already 4% worn, as Alonso and Checo slap the wall there. Our only shot now is either we get another red flag, which based on the early laps is not impossible, or we try and get past these two, build up a gap, and then obviously pit again. We're already at quarter race distance then, and so much has happened, but not a lot of racing in that time. Sergio Perez, though, is going to lead the way, as we're going to try and see if we can get the jump on Alonso after this restart there. We'll try and attack the Aston Martin as best as we can. And look at that, Alonso's struggling. Alonso's really struggling out of the final corner. What on earth is that from Fernando there, as he'll just hop over the curbing to hang on to the place? But yeah, that was really, really odd. It was like I think he didn't have the car on the right battery setting as we went green flag racing there. So Checo instantly has got a bit of a lead there over Fernando. We're going to try again. Oh, let's have a look down the inside at Upper Mirabeau, and again, we might be able to make the move work there as, oh, I see Alonso, he's not willing to give up on it. We'll go around the outside though, a little bit of argy-bargy there. But from 8th on the grid, we are up into P2 then now of this GP. I mean, if this was real Formula 1, you'd be telling Sergio now, you know, if we get to him, let us buy, because we are on different strategies. But this isn't IRL Formula 1. We are going to have to make that move. Oh, we've got yellows. We've got yellows again. That's, I think, Oscar Piastri dropping to the wayside then. So he's going to be our 3rd retirement of the day. That one's the first mechanical failure, though, that we've seen in this GP. Disappointment for the young Australian there. But to be fair, Perez, his pace is actually looking very, very good right now. We need about 20 seconds to be able to box safely here. So even if that wasn't ahead of Alonso, It might well be ahead of Zhou Guanyu by the time that happens. But yeah, Perez is going a good 3-4 tenths clear of anybody else, except for ourselves.
Well done.
That's exactly what we need to be doing, just piling on the pressure. But yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the gaps. Well, Zhou Guanyu is definitely starting to hold up more and more cars behind him there. And yeah, you can see now the gap already up over 6 seconds. Problem I've got is that, you know, kind of the big advantage you have on these tyres is already starting to come off just a little bit. So the longer I stay tucked up behind Sergio, the worse obviously this tyre wear is going to become. So we need to try and find a way around our teammate here. If we can get a good run out of Portier, maybe we can do something against him. But apart from that, yeah, it's just very, very difficult there. As you can see, trying to put the power down. Obviously, we've got identical cars there, so we don't really gain much in a straight line against him. So it's just going to have to be about trying to get creative with the move there, because obviously Checo, he's not going to let us by. See, he knows if he lets us by, we can scamper off.
And remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you
come on.
approach.
Yeah, if we can obviously scamper off, then we got an opportunity to take this win away from him. But you just see there, through those final couple of corners, trying to find the grip. We still pulled out another second on Zhou that lap, but we need to stay out till, you know, nearly lap 30 to safely get ahead of him. Oh, this might be the run. This might be the run down the inside of Perez. It's where we've made all our moves so far today. 212 Motorsport battling for the win. And I would say, I'm sure the team principal will be watching this on, super nervous, but of course we're in the car. So we've kind of got to do our own thing there, and we are up then into the lead. There was no contact made, so that is critical. Of course, Checo, I think, looks likely that he's going to win this GP. But let's just keep trying to see if we can pull away from Zhou Guanyu, continue extending that advantage. Now we've got clear air. Well, as we get towards half distance then of this Grand Prix, tyre wear warning light has now flashed up. So we're going to have to be really, really careful over these last few laps of this stint. I reckon, sensibly, we can get these tyres to about the end of lap 24. And by then, yeah, the gap to Zhou Guanyu, at the rate it's still going, is going to be very, very close to what we need. The only other issue I've got, of course, is obviously I want to then take another set of softs to the end. They will be a little bit slidey, but if we can try and find a way around Alonso again, it might genuinely still give us a chance to attack for the win. Well, we saw it back at Saudi Arabia as well earlier on this season, and the problem I always suffer with at Monaco, of course, is just those little glances you have with the barrier. They don't do any damage to the wing or anything, but they do take more and more tyre life out of the car, and that is really what's costing us at this stage of the day there through the exit of Portier. Is one of the worst offenders for me, and then obviously down at Tabac as well, where you're really trying to thread the car through. But a couple more laps left of this stint then, and yeah, Zhou Guanyu is definitely still dropping away. This will make or break our Monaco Grand Prix, but either way, I don't really have any regrets about trying this. Team want us in now. We will just hold off a couple more. But, I mean, yeah, had we not tried this, we would have probably ended up, what, P4, P5 anyway, so I kind of don't really feel like I'm going to lose anything by going for it. Sometimes you just got to roll the dice. Well, we've got the gap to Zhou almost now at 16 seconds, which I think is sensibly as much as we're going to be able to do on this set of tyres. That front left is absolutely screaming at us there, as almost throwing the car in towards the wall. We know obviously we'll again have a big advantage as we head into the final stint for a few laps, so even if we end up in a bit of traffic, I'm sure we can make our way through. But this will be race defining for us, so we make our way into the pit lane. Make sure I don't get done for speeding on the way in as well there, but that's going to hand back Sergio Perez the lead of this GP. Alonso making his way through, as we could just see over the side of the wall there, all those other cars making their way through the exit of the swimming pool chicane. Get the softs on. Oh, I thought we were having a slow stop then, but it's worked out all right. There goes Zhou, there goes Hamilton, there goes Leclerc. We should be comfortably out ahead of Carlos Sainz as we send it on the pit exit. And now, again, we've got softer compound tyre than the AI, but this time they are much, much fresher as well there. So, I mean, instantly they feel up to scrub. We've just got to avoid trying to nudge the walls or anything like that. But of course we end up right back out with our championship rival there in Charles Leclerc. Try to have a look around the outside through the hairpin. Not going to happen there. Will we get the power down, though, through Portier? Let's see how close we can stick to that Ferrari, and look at that. This is going to open the door for us through the exit of the tunnel there to the inside. Leclerc doesn't defend it. And look how much later we can brake. Straight back up at a P5 done of this race.
Keep going.
So in my head now, we haven't really lost anything by trying this strap. Let's see if we can find a way around Lewis. Oh, Hamilton. Okay. I wasn't expecting it to be that fast. We try and find a way around him as Hamilton slapped the inside wall. There was no contact made. We did not hit Hamilton. That's definitely not right. It's Sergio Perez still leading there, but somehow we've gone around the outside of Lewis there. Somehow he hasn't ripped a wheel off. But yeah, I think Hamilton there just completely misjudged the final corner and almost took himself out of this race. And again, we are tucked up under the gearbox of Zhou Guanyu as well, so we saw how we can make moves here in probably my best overtaking spot of the entire afternoon. So we're going to try and utilise it again there to the inside of Zhou. And again, his podium hopes there just getting eradicated right in front of him. We've got 8 seconds to Alonso. We've got 13 laps to do it. But I do need to look after the tyres as well. There we go then. This is going to be a new fastest lap of the day, I hope. 109.6. Yeah, we are not going to be boxing again, Mark, unless something goes catastrophically wrong. Again, though, you just see how much wear you put through the tyres so quickly. But 5 seconds already, the gap down to Fernando in front. Oh, come on. Well, understandably, when we're 2 seconds a lap faster than the AI, it doesn't take us long before we've caught up to the back of Fernando Alonso. And maybe we've caught up at the right place as well then. Not quite, just again nudging the wall will mean that we don't get the run that we want down through the tunnel. But hopefully, yeah, if we can move past him, I will likely then just try and bring the car home. Don't want to risk too much with the tyres or anything like that. Although, of course, as always, you know, the Monaco Grand Prix, it's the one they all want to win. And I would love to get another one to add to our record this weekend there. Alonso, you just see, oh, braking way earlier than I was expecting. Down in towards those final couple of corners. Can we try and put the power down on the exit of that final turn there? We will start closing in on him, but not close enough. In towards turn 1 there. Can we get the power down on the exit of the corner, though, to make our way up the hill once again? Every corner around this circuit has its own story, has its own tale, and rather impressively, most of them as well actually have a move down the inside of Alonso. We will just about at the last moment there work out that he wasn't going to sit fully defensive. And now as we try and go side by side, they're almost nudging the wall. Oh, Alonso, he just gives me the squeeze on the exit. I think he thought he was fully in front there. But we still have the nose down the inside. Can we now get the power down, though, through the tunnel this time round to potentially get close enough to him? It's going to have to be a bit of a send into the apex there, but we'll get alongside. We'll make sure we give him the room on the exit, but through we will go. And back into P2 then at the Monaco Grand Prix. We've got to look after these tyres towards the end. But boy, oh boy, I want to try and attack Sergio as well. Well, as we make our way then in towards the final few laps of the Monaco Grand Prix, looking at the gaps, we are going to close into Sergio Perez, but I don't think we're going to have the time to really try and attack him towards the end of this one. But Sergio Perez, I genuinely can't remember the last time he won a Grand Prix on this game. Of course, in both of our series, Red Bull seemed to just fall apart somewhat. So in this series, obviously, we've got Checo out of that team. It actually ended up being quite a good move for him inside this game. But yeah, inside our normal driver career mode as well. I don't think he's won a race since Season 1. But joining us, he became our first teammate to score a point inside this game. And today, it looks like he's going to be our first teammate to take a win as well there. And what a time to do it. I've been reading the comments from you guys saying, you know, perhaps we should drop him. You know, he's just not delivering. If he can walk away with a victory today, surely he deserves the seat. 2 laps to go then of the Monaco Grand Prix, and we have got to savour these moments as a team as well. They're 1 and 2 here at Monaco, looking like we're going to take the maximum haul of points as well. And ultimately, this car today has just been a level above the rest. The amount of work the team have done behind the scenes to get this car race ready here. You know, anything can go wrong at Monaco. We've taken such a gamble with the strategy, but the fact that we've still ended up in this position goes to show just how well this car is working. And Perez, we have seen him slowly turn the tide. He really struggled in the opening few Grand Prix. Miami just seemed like it might have been a bit of a breakthrough for him, getting a couple of decent results. And then Imola, again, he was just a little bit quiet that weekend. But here at Monaco, he proved he's got the pace on Saturday afternoon after that disappointment from the front row start all the way back at Suzuka. And as we are about to start the last lap then of the Monaco Grand Prix, unless we can do something, I just haven't quite got the grip there. It looks like Perez is going to take victory here today. That being said, I don't want to take him out or anything. I don't want to have any contact, but if an opportunity comes our way there, we are certainly going to try and take it. It's just a little bit of a wobble out through turn one there. Again, on the worn-out tyres, stuck in the dirty air. It is not a particularly enjoyable experience. Just see the car moving around as you slowly overheat these Pirellis. But yeah, what a race it has been today. Yeah, I absolutely love to see it. I'm trying to remember, when was the last time a team got a 1-2 here in Monaco? Because it's been quite a few years, if I remember correctly. I think it might genuinely be 2017, courtesy of Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen over at Ferrari there. But today, it is going to be 212 Motorsports Day, and Charles Leclerc, of course, still our main championship threat in the championship. Just everybody at the moment cannot consistently get anywhere near close enough to us. And we just have the car. We've got the package every weekend to be competitive. And everybody else, it's almost like Verstappen throughout the early stages of 2024. Through the final corner, though, he did it in 2022. He's going to do it this season. Sergio Perez wins the Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh, there's been a drive and a half, and it will be rewarded with a trip to the top step of the podium. Sergio Perez wins.
To overcome the difficult circumstances they face throughout this race today, it's not easy, and it really shows a lot of maturity. And you can use this, you can draw on this as a driver moving forward and boost your confidence through the rest of the championship.
A show-stopping performance from the three drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
Well, there we are then. Sergio Perez from P2 on the grid will walk away with victory here in Monaco. But 8th place for us, 3 pit stops, although technically only 1. To only be quarter of a second away, I think we can be pretty happy with there. It's both 212 Motorsport cars, followed by both Aston Martins, both Ferraris there ahead of Gasly and Max Verstappen, with Ricciardo and Russell rounding out your top 10. Tsunoda, again, another day where he doesn't score any points as well. Lando Norris and Lance Stroll both picking up penalties as well. Not too sure what they did with Oscar Piastri, Dennis Hauger and Alexander Albon, who all failed to see the checkered flag. What does that do to our championship standings? Well, it means now we have a 77-point lead over Charles Leclerc, so that gap is just continuing to extend early on this season. Perez now up into P8 there, only 5 points back behind his old teammate in Verstappen as well. So I'm hoping a couple more races, and yeah, he will be looking pretty competitive here. Could Alonso become a bit of a championship threat as well over the next few rounds here? We'll have to wait and see. Still, Lance Stroll has only got 1 point for Red Bull so far in this campaign. Ocon, both Haas, both Saubers and Logan Sargent still the only drivers yet to score. And constructors-wise there, yeah, we open up a nice healthy lead of 54 ahead of Ferrari as well. But only us and Ferrari have broken over the 100-point barrier so far. Goes to show just how evenly distributed the points have been in the early rounds of this campaign. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. We will be back later on next week, ready, I believe, for the Canadian Grand Prix.